Welcome to the Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. This meeting is being recorded, televised, and viewable on Swiftel Channel 19, ITC Channel 168, or the Brookings County YouTube channel. I now call this meeting to order. Richard, would you do a roll call?
All right. McHugh. Gadsky. Here. Dietrich.
Here.
Kleinjohn. Here. Vanderwall.
Here.
Troyan.
Here.
Thank you. Jensen.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Storhog. Ford.
Here.
All right. We have 9 members present at this time.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall.
Second.
Second by Jensen. Richard, would you do a roll call vote?
Yes. Did you split the minutes to the May 4th, or did you do them both? You did one for May 4th, one for May 25th.
You want to do them both, or do I gotta split them?
We can.
Is that for the 4th or for both of them, Kyle?
Let's go with both of them. Save time.
Same on the 2nd?
Same.
We're in business.
All right, we'll start. Gadsky,
Yes.
Dietrich,
Yes.
Kleinjohn. Aye. Vanderwall,
Aye.
Troyan,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Storhog,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Items to be added to the agenda by commission members or staff.
The staff has nothing to add.
Thank you. Invitation for citizens to schedule a time on the commission agenda for an item not listed. Anyone wanting to speak? Seeing and hearing none. Disclosure of conflicts of interest, relationships to the applicant or ex parte communication. Seeing and hearing none, approval of agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Gatsky. Voice vote or roll call? Richard, do a roll call vote.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Kleinjohn. Aye. Vanderwall,
Aye.
Troyan, Mr. Troyan, are you there?
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Storhog,
Aye.
Gadsky,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I will now call this meeting to order. I would like to welcome those in attendance at tonight's meeting. The Brookings County Planning Commission is a 9-member commission whose function is to recommend approval or disapproval of land use plans, zoning ordinances, subdivision plats, and amendments thereof to the Brookings County Commission of the commission makes its recommendation based upon the adopted comprehensive plan for the physical development of the unincorporated areas of Brookings County. As a matter of policy, all motions are to be made in the positive. After a motion is moved and seconded, it is open to debate. Those supporting the motion shall in turn give their reasons. Those opposing the motion shall then offer their reasons. After everyone has been given a chance to be heard, the commission shall recommend approval or disapproval based on the testimony and information presented. A simple majority vote of a quorum of members of the Planning and Zoning Board in attendance is required to forward the recommendation. Agenda item 2021, Plat 007, plat of lots 1A and 2A of Lorenzen Edition in the southwest 1/4 of Section 1, Township 109, Range 48W of the 5th Prime Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Kleinjohn.
Second.
Second by Jensen. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 2021 Plat 007, Curtis Krogman and Brian Kruger are replatting Lot 1A containing 75.5 acres and Lot 2A, which contains 74.5 acres for a property line adjustment. The Planning and Zoning Commission approved the original plats for Lot 1 and Lot 2 on December 1st, 2020. The Brookings County Zoning Commission approved the plat on December 22nd, and it was recorded in the Register of Deeds office the same day. The property owners want to straighten out the property line between the two parcels from the way it was originally platted. The road access will remain the same for Lot 1A, having access off 215th Street, and Lot 2A will have access off 483rd Avenue. Both are Parnell Township gravel roads, and it meets the platting requirements of the 2016 Comprehensive Plan for the unincorporated rural area of Brookings County on page 24 for the agricultural land use. This is the new straight dividing line between the two Lot 1A and 2A. This was the original plat, and I'll show you in just a minute here. Jogged over and then back again here to follow the pasture land the way it was. They decided they wanted it to be easier to go with a straight line, so they replatted it to straighten out the property line. This is just the beacon map showing the straightened out line. The blue area here shows the way it was originally platted, so a lot easier, a lot more convenient for each party to go in a straight line there instead of jogging in. This was a new split last year, so this is the quarter that was split into 280s here, and the building site was sold off separately. This was the original plat, came in, jogged over and back again, so. And that's all that I have. The applicants are not here this evening.
Okay. Well, if the applicant is not here, I will now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call the vote?
Klein John. Aye. Vanderwall.
Aye.
Troyan.
Aye.
Jensen.
Yes.
Erickson.
Aye.
Storhog.
Aye.
Gatsky.
Aye.
Dietrich.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
We will now convene as the Brookings County Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment is a 9-member board which has the power to hear requests for variances, conditional use, and appeals from non-ministerial decisions of the zoning officer. The concurring vote of 2/3 of the full board membership of the board, 6 votes is necessary for approval of a variance or an appeal of the zoning officer. The concurring vote of a simple majority of those board members present and voting is necessary for approval of a conditional use permit. In accordance with Robert's Rules of Orders, we require a motion to approve a request before the request can be debated. As a matter of policy, all motions are to be made in the positive. The board, under specific powers granted to it by the state, shall authorize variances from zoning requirements where special conditions existing on the land will result in an unnecessary hardship for the applicant. Financial disadvantage to the property owner shall not constitute proof of an unnecessary hardship. Agenda item 2021 variance 010. Pamela Intermel has made application 2021 variance 010 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for variance Article 11, Section 11.01A, Agricultural District, Area Regulation, Number 7A, where a single-family home is requested on an established farmstead, so long it is immediately connected to the existing farm operation. The property is described as Block 1, Intermel Mizar Edition, in the southeast one-fourth of Section 12, Township 110 North, Range 51W, Brookings Township, located at 46590 210th Street, Brookings, South Dakota 57006. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Gatsky. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 2021 variance 010, Pamela Intermill has applied for a variance to build a second single-family home, single-family residence, stick-built home on existing homestead. Brookings County zoning ordinance, Article 11A, Area Regulation 7A, where the second single-family home is requested on an established farmstead so long as it is immediately connected to the existing farming operation. B, single-family residence legally built under this ordinance will be considered an established farmstead after it's been existed for 10 years. And C, the county zoning commission may deny any request for small and minimum lot size if it's determined as an attempt to circumvent the intent of the requirements of this ordinance. The current building site, containing 10.4 acres, is subdivided from the rest of the quarter in June of 2020. The Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the plat of the June 6th, 2020 meeting, as it was an existing building site. The Brookings County Commission approved the plat on June 16th, 2020, and it was recorded at the Register of Deeds office on June 17th, 2020. The property has a house on the parcel, which was built in 1978 with no other accessory buildings. The balance of the land is trees and used as an area for hay and feed storage. Pamela Intermill's father is a retired farmer and currently lives in the existing farmhouse. The applicant would like to build a new second stick-built home on the property for her and her husband Lance to live in. Pam and Lance have a farming operation consisting of 21 cows, and their son farms 350 acres. And they also have a trucking business in Volga. The property is located in the floodplain, and the proposed new residence would need to meet the Brookings County floodplain ordinance requirements for building in the floodplain if it is approved. Brookings County zoning ordinance, Article 11, agricultural districts, area regulations listed above, and the comprehensive land use plan for Brookings County, sections listed on page 49. Rural development areas, agricultural preservation policies, page 50. Maintain a residential density of no more than one building site per 35 acres. On page 69, Appendix B, land use, location, design criteria, specific use in the rural development areas, page 70. Accessory agricultural housing. Brookings County recognizes the needs for relatives of farm operations or operators or employees to live on the farm site. In order to allow residents depriving their primary source of income from the farm, they need to live and work. More than one residence dwelling may be allowed on a minimum of 35 acres in 2 instances. Number 1, A, a manufactured home used as an additional dwelling for an employee or relative of a farm operator. Number 2, an additional single-family structure or multiple family structure is proposed to house employees or relatives of a farm operator at the site of a confined animal feeding operation, which has received a conditional use permit by Brookings County. This lists the policies as the relative should be limited to parents, grandparents, children, brothers, or sisters of the farm operator. Employees living in accessory agricultural housing structures shall derive their primary source of income from the farm operation based at the location of the residence. Brookings County may utilize tax records, pay stubs, or other information necessary to determine the primary source of income for the residents of the accessory housing. The board will have to consider the sections of the Brookings County zoning ordinance and the Brookings County comprehensive plan, both listed above, to determine if it meets the requirements. The other option would be the Brookings County zoning ordinance, Article 11, A agricultural district, section 11.01, A agricultural district, conditional use number 16. One manufactured mobile home as a secondary residence as on an established farmstead to be used for the occupancy of a farm employee or by the parents, grandparents, children, or brothers or sisters of the occupant of the land, provided that the house is removed within 90 days of the vacation thereof from any qualified occupant or occupants. The applicant has also applied for variance 2021-011-11 for a front yard setback to build a proposed second stilt-built home residence closer to the road. This variance application, which will be heard the same night, is contingent upon approval of this variance, 2021 VAR 011. Public 010, excuse me. Public notices were published in the Brookings Register on May 18th and 25th of 2021. Letters were sent to the adjoining landowners, the Brookings Township Chairman and Clerk, and the Brookings County Highway Department. This is the variance application. This is the site plan. The current house is here, 1/8 of a mile to the east of Brookings County Road, Township Road right here. This is the current home. Proposed home would be to the west of there a little ways. This is the beacon map. This is 466th Avenue, I believe. Here, this is where the current home is located. This is 210th Street. This is the approximate location that they would like to build the second stick-built home. The red area denotes that it is in the floodplain, so if it is approved, they would have to elevate and build within floodplain standards to build the second residence there. A little clearer picture without the floodplain layer on there. Current home, proposed home. This is the river running right here. This is a single lane bridge right here, so it is, the road's kind of narrow right in there versus a normal two-lane road. This is just looking, photographs looking east of the driveway, the feed storage area. This is the existing home that's there. This is the proposed looking west of the driveway, a proposed area that they have built up and hauled in for the new home. This is just looking back towards the east. The wheel is at the 33 feet from the center of the road, I believe, right there. This is just looking back towards the west again. This is looking towards the north, towards the proposed building site. This is just looking back to the north again. This is looking back towards the west, towards the site right there. And that's all that I have.
Thank you. As the applicant here, would you step forward to mic there? When you have a seat, make sure the green light's on your mic and clearly state your name.
Hi, I'm Pamela Intermel.
Lance Intermel.
Do you have anything to add to Richard's report there at all?
Pretty thorough.
Yep, he's got it covered. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you. I guess with that, I will now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is for this? You want to say anything? You got to step up to the mic, correct? State your name and your reasons.
I'm Rick Intermel. Lance, of course, is my brother, Pam, my sister-in-law. You know, in what they're doing, I used to sit in a chair just like you guys did. Some of you knew me back when I did, remember that. So, you know, the reason we have boards is to come in for these kind of things, and I do understand the you know, such things as a setback on that when the other houses are close, the other house is closer and so forth. I don't see the setback as a problem. I remember the reasons for the housing, but, you know, this is one of them that could be an exception because of what it's trying to do. And I just would like to put that in on the record.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience or on the phone that is for this? Seeing and hearing none. Is there anybody else in the audience or on the phone that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. I'll move to the board for any comments or questions.
Mr. Chair, the only question I have is, maybe I missed it somewhere in this presentation. Are you going to be actively involved in the farming operation?
The cattle are ours, yep.
Yeah, the farm is ours as well. My father's currently living in that brown house that you saw in the picture, And so we're just trying to accommodate the situation to be able to have him in his house as well as us have our home.
For a question from myself here regarding the combination of the cattle operation and the farmland operation. Would that constitute the primary income?
No. Trucking
Trucking is the
company is my
primary income
primary.
on it?
Yep, and I have a business as well. That wasn't documented, but yep.
Thank you.
Luke, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any thoughts that you'd like to put in on this?
Well, since you asked, I guess I will. This is Luke Muller with First District Association Local Governments. I was there when you wrote the land use plan many years ago, and the points that Richard read were written very specifically at the time in relation to a request with a 2 houses proposed on a lot very similar to this. I think it was 15 acres. And the board was very specific. The Planning Commission at that time, at least, was very specific and wanted to point out that they wanted to see, at least in policy form, that any second house on a lot in a case like this was a manufactured home. So that was done on purpose back in, I think, 2016 when you adopted this land use plan. So having 2 stick-built houses on a 15-acre or a 10-acre lot would be contrary to that land use plan. I have experience with the Intermels back when I worked at the soybean plant. They're great people and have done a lot of great things, but it's my job to point out that that is contrary to your land use plan. Thanks.
Thank you, Luke.
It's actually a 30-acre farm. It's just that 20 of it's on a contract for deed. It's not just 10 acres. 10 acres is we own free and clear, and then there's 20 acres where the building and the cattle are at on a contract for deed with EMO.
Is that in one plot, or is that plotted separately?
It would be 2 different plots because one's totally paid and one's contract for deed.
Okay.
But the actual farm is 30 acres.
It would still be one separate parcel right there where the house is being located, so that's the one that we need to go with.
What has happened in the past with these kind of requests? Because I know of a neighbor of mine that years ago wanted to have a second home on his property and it was denied. And then he brought a mobile home in. And then since his son no longer lives there, they had to move the mobile home off. They tried, I remember him coming over and trying to understand it, but it's pretty well written black and white in here about the second house not being a stick built. So I didn't know has there been cases in the past, because I'm new, that this has been allowed?
That is correct. Since 2003, there have been 11 applications for this same thing. One was it for a new house to be, 2 houses to be built there while the new house was being built, and that's old home was removed once the new house was built. One application was withdrawn. One was approved but was not completed. 4 applications were denied. 4 applications were approved. And since that time, one of those approved, the relative passed away and the old house was removed, so there's only 1 house there now. So right now, there's only 3 parcels out there with actively engaged father and son, or 2 people that are making their income off of farming.
Richard, how do they interpret the primary income being from farming? So how do you really monitor that?
That's something we'd have to go back and go through. It says the board has that power to determine. We have to go through and probably see their tax records, or how, if they're do a Schedule F or what's on there to determine where their W-2s to determine what you would have to require.
What are your plans with Emel's house in the future then?
To have a relative live on it. My niece has also indicated interest in buying the home, keeping it in the family.
Richard, is this something that, kind of a topic, since it's come up before, that needs to be analyzed a little further? Or as a generalized topic, not just specific property, but this kind of a case?
Well, I would say history kind of speaks for itself
Yeah.
on there. The intent of the ordinance with the second manufactured home is what that was intended for.
To be like either a mobile home or something you can move in and then move out.
Right, and they would have to apply for conditional use for that, and once there's no longer an employee, they could have a hired man living there, or typically, it's been used for a family member to live in there, and once there's no longer a family member living in that second home, then it has to be removed.
Yeah.
Within 90 days of the vacation of a family member or qualified member living in the home.
This is challenging.
Is there any other additional comments or questions from members of the board?
So is this house gonna be built on the 30 acres and not on the 10-acre homestead?
It's on the 10.
It's on the 10.
If it was on
But
the
if we-
30,
If,
I don't think it would be a problem.
right, as far as the setback is not a problem, I don't think, is it, being behind the other house?
That's a separate discussion.
That's a different
So
issue.
that's not being
Different.
discussed at this time.
If we were to locate the house, that'd be where the current cattle yard is located, right next to the river.
It appears to be that we're not checking enough of the boxes to allow it. That's the biggest issue here. It's a stick built, it's not a mobile home that can be removed. It's 10 acres, it's not
But if
large
we-
enough. There's a lot of little check boxes here that don't meet the criteria of the comprehensive plan, so. And those were put together obviously before I got here. And that's something that obviously could be revisited by the planning commission at a future date, but I don't know that that would change anything as far as today is concerned. So, for me, we're not checking enough boxes here. Primary income.
If we were to purchase the 35 to 50 acres to the north, the
If you
tillable,
buy
tillable acres.
35 acres to the north,
There's-
you could put a house on it.
There's 50 acres tillable to the north there.
Yeah.
If we were to purchase that, then we would be allowed to.
Yeah, basically, if you were to purchase enough there to plot it into a 35 acre plot, then your plot can run right up, put a property line right between your proposed house and the existing house.
Okay.
I am gonna suggest here, if you think that's an option, you might want to withdraw this, because if we vote this down tonight, it is 180 days until you can bring this back to us.
It's nice to know now.
Yeah, we weren't.
We weren't
that.
told that, so, yeah. And the one thing I would like to mention on this, if, you talk to people in Brookings County and there's a lot of confusion. I know that you had mentioned, Gatsky, about the, possibility that there are some homes that may be hanging out in Brookings County that have two of them on them that are stick-built homes. And so, it seems as though if you make enough of a stink, that's, it'll be done. I definitely understand the reason for zoning and ordinances and such. Just maybe consider a little bit more oversight into the ones that have been granted in the past. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may add, there are several houses in Brookings County that were built prior to 1975 that have two houses on it. And that
Before
was-
the zoning
That is
ordinance.
before zoning started, so those would have no
Correct.
matter how old it was, had no say in those matters. Once we started zoning is when we started the 35 acre.
Yep, I understand, correct. We'd like to withdraw the application. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The other one also at this time, when we get there?
We have to have it replotted to
Okay, we'll just hang on till we get to that next agenda item. And then if you want like to withdraw that one, then you can do that at that time also.
So I have to read that, and then I gotta actually draw it.
Yep, go through and read the next agenda item. Just be it noted in the notes that the applicant withdrew their application. Yeah, if you just want to give us a written statement saying you'd like to withdraw the variance applications.
You said a written statement? Okay. It was my name, so.
So then, when I move on, do I need to, I can go to agenda item 2021, variance 012,
The next agenda item.
after their other one, right?
Right,
Right.
yep, you don't need to read that because they're going to withdraw it.
Moving on, agenda item 2021, variance 012. Tracy and Alan Dixon have made an application 2021 variance 012 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for a variance Article 4, District Requirements, Chapter 4.03 LP, Lake Park District, Section 4.03.03, Density, Area, and Yard Regulation, Minimum Lakefront. The property is described as lots 1, 2, and 3 of Marvin Wade, second subdivision of government lots 1, 2, and 3 of the Northeast 1/4, Section 6, Township 112 North, Range 52W, and Lot 10, excluding the northwest 60 feet of CM Christensen subdivision and Government Lot 4 in the northwest 1/4, Section 6, Township 112 North, Range 52W, and Lot D, County Highway Addition in Section 6, Township 112 North, Range 52W, Laketon Township, located at 288 South Lake Drive, Arlington, South Dakota 57212. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Gatsky. Richard, would you read the staff report when you get to it?
2021 variance 012. Alan and Tracy Dixon have applied for a variance to build a second-story addition onto the main floor of their existing lake cabin. The addition will be the same dimensions as the main floor, and the foundation of the cabin is 18 feet away from the highest known water mark. The Lake Park lakefront setbacks are 75 feet from the highest known water mark. The foundation of the cabin is built into the side of a hill, with the top of the foundation, with the cabin portion being 3 to 4 foot higher in elevation than the highest known water mark. The attached boathouse to the northwest corner of the house, that is 18 feet closer to the lake, and 3 to, in elevation, okay, the boathouse is 11 feet farther away from the northwest corner, which would be 29 feet from the highest known water mark, and 11 feet from the highest known water mark to the corner of the boathouse. There will not be any second-story additions on the boathouse portion of the house. The proposed second story will meet the roadside and side yard setbacks. The parcel is located in the floodplain. The proposed second-story addition will meet the FEMA floodplain non-substantial improvement requirements of not increasing the value of the structure by more than 50% of market value. The applicant will need to complete a floodplain development permit and will need to follow FEMA floodplain standards for their second-story addition. The current floor plan and proposed floor plan are included in this report. Some things to consider are the shape and the size of the lot, the location of existing water, electrical, water, and telephone lines. Marvin Wade subdivision was platted on October 26, 1955, and the CM Christensen subdivision was platted on November 1950. The cabin was built prior to the current zoning ordinance were in place, and the Brookings County comprehensive plan, future land use development. Found on page 58, it is likely that established developed areas of Lake Campbell, Hendricks, Lake Titancaha, and Lake Ponset will experience continued development in varying degrees, while non-lakefront property growth potential exists for all of the available lakes. Significant lakefront areas is appropriately zoned and subdivided in some cases adjacent to Lake Titancaha, Lake Hendricks, and Lake Campbell. Letters were sent to the adjoining landowners, the Laketon Township Chairman and Clerk, and the Brookings County Highway Department. Public notices were published in the Brookings Register on May 18th and 25th, 2021, and in the Arlington Sun on May 20th and 27th, 2021. This is the zoning variance application. This is the survey map showing the setbacks in the house. This is the high water mark where the riprap is. And this is the edge of the corner of the boathouse where it's 11 feet from this corner to the riprap. And this is the corner of the house that's 18 feet from here to here, which is where the highest known water mark was. This is the existing floor plan of the main floor. This is the proposed second-story addition, bedroom, family room up there, laundry room area. This is the elevation from the top, lakeside. This is the proposed boathouse. No addition would be built on there. Second-story addition over the main part. So this shows the floodplain area coming up, getting about half of the structure of the house right in there. This is just some photos that I've taken here. This is just looking from the road towards the house. This is looking from the lakeside towards the southwest. Looking there, this is the boathouse addition. This would be the main part of the house that would be added on. This is looking from the west, looking to the east. This is a proposed west side of the house. This part of the structure right here, what would be built on. You can see would not obstruct view looking to the east or the west along the shoreline. This is looking towards the west, northwest there. This is looking towards the east. This is the watermarks of the highest known watermark here back in probably 2019. That was about the highest, might have been a little higher in 2012, but that was considerable right there. And that corresponds with right here. So this is 18 feet from here to the foundation of the main house. So it's 18 feet there. This is just looking at the front of the yard, utilities there, utilities marked here on the south side of the house. So, this time, Mr. Spencer, are you going to sign off, Dietrich? And then Mr. Erickson can take the place if you were signing off.
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
So.
And that's all that I have.
Thank you. Would the applicant come forward? Sit down, clearly state your name.
Alan Dixon.
Tracy Dixon.
Richard, staff report.
Sure. I mean, really thorough. Another thing to point out, in addition to the electric and all that stuff, there's also a main sewer line that runs right along the back of that house as well. So we looked at doing an addition roadside, and it was pretty complicated, obviously, to rip up the sewer and all that stuff. So that's when we started pursuing going up
On the existing.
on the existing foundation.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yep.
All right, well, I will now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience or on the phone as opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you read the findings of the facts?
All right, I'll read this in its entirety here. Brookings County zoning variance 2021 VAR 012. Application for a variance have been filed with the Brookings County Zoning Commission, acting as a Brookings County Board of Adjustment. A copy of the application being attached here too. Such application be made by Tracy and Alan Dixon regarding the following real property. Lots 1, 2, and 3 of Marvin Wade, second subdivision, and government lots 1, 2, and 3 in the northeast 1/4 of Section 6. Township 112 North, Range 52 West, and Lot 10, except the northwest 60 feet of the C.M. Christensen subdivision and Government Lot 4 in the northwest 1/4 of Section 6. Township 112 North, Range 52 West, and Lot D, County Highway Addition, in Section 6. Township 112 North, Range 52 West, Laketon Township, located at 288 South Lake Drive, Arlington, South Dakota. After due notice having been held on the application on this first day of June 2021. Number 1, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment hereby finding that the strict application of the Brookings County zoning ordinance would produce undue hardship, that such hardship is not generally shared by other properties in the same zoning district or the same vicinity, that the authorization of such variance will not be substantial detriment to the adjacent property and the character of the district will not be changed by the granting of the variance, and that granting of such variance is based upon reasons demonstrable and exceptional hardship, as distinguished from variations for the purpose of convenience, profit, and caprice. Number 2, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finding that the conditions or situation of the property concerned or the intended use of the property is not so general a character or recurring in nature as to make reasonable practical the formulation of a general regulation to be adopted as an amendment to the zoning ordinance. Number 3, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finding that the written application of the petitioner demonstrates that special conditions and circumstances exist on which are procured the land, structure, or buildings in the same district, that literal interpretations of the provisions of the Brookings County zoning ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of the ordinance, that the special conditions and terms do not result from the actions of the applicant, and that granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the ordinance to other lands, structures, or buildings in the same district. Number 4, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finds that the reasons set forth in the application justify the granting of the variance, that the variance is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure, that the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general purpose and the intent of the Brookings County zoning ordinance, and will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. Number 5, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further determines and conditions this variance upon the following special conditions or safeguards. A, shape and size of lot. B, Marvin Wade subdivision was platted on October 26, 1955, and C.M. Christensen subdivision was platted on November 1950. The existing cabin was built in 1960. D, the property and portion of the existing cabin is located in the floodplain. The addition is considered by FEMA standards a non-substantial improvement by an addition that will not increase the market value of the building by 50% per plan submitted. Well, should be 2. The Development Office and reviewed on May 11th, 2021 by Jacob Bremer, Brookings County Equalization Director. The Brookings County Board of Adjustment released 2/3 vote of its full membership hereby grants the above petitioner a variance for the above describable property as follows. Build a second-story addition onto the main portion of the existing cabin, 18 feet from the highest known watermark on Lake Ponset, as noted by the watermark on the boathouse foundation. B, no second-story addition to be constructed on the existing attached boathouse portion of the cabin. If the existing cabin would become non-structurally sound, it could not be rebuilt in the same location. The applicant would have to apply for a variance. D, a Brookings County floodplain development permit required and follow Brookings County floodplain ordinance for building in the floodplain. The variance is specifically conditioned upon initial and continued compliance with all of the conditions and safeguards in 5 above, upon compliance with all applicable provisions of the Brookings County zoning ordinance. If approved, the Brookings County zoning director is authorized to issue any required building permits for construction consistent with the terms of this variance. If this variance is not used within 3 years of the date granted, it shall be invalid. Dated this first day of June, 2021.
That sound good?
Mr. Chairman, I would concur with the findings of facts as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Bartley. Richard, would you call the vote?
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Troyan,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Storhog,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Gatsky,
Yes.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item 2021, conditional use 009. Dylan Ringling has made an application 2021. Excuse me. 2021 CU 009 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for a conditional use Article 11, Section 11.01A Agricultural District Conditional Use Permit Number 22 Lodging House. The property is described as the southeast 1/4 of the southeast 1/4 of the southeast 1/4 of Section 16, Township 110, North Range 51W, Volga Township, located at 21095 463rd Avenue, Volga, South Dakota 57071. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Jensen,
Second.
second by Vanderwall. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 2021 CU 009, Dylan Ringling has applied for conditional use number 22 for a lodging house at his residence located at 21095 463rd Avenue, Volga, South Dakota 57071, which is just north of the intersection of US Highway 14 and 463rd Avenue. The lodging house will be a vacation rental by owner, otherwise known as VRBO. The building site is 10 acres consisting of a residence, winery building, storage shed, and proposed 64 by 120-foot three-season event hall to be constructed in 2 to 3 years. He was approved for conditional use 2020 CU 018 for an extended home business on September 1st, 2020 for an event center to host events but not limited to weddings, graduations, corporate retreats, birthday parties, and anniversaries. And the applicant's business plan is attached, which included check-in times, emergency plans, transportation, area events, eating establishments, parking, and security. The lodging house will allow the residents of the event center to stay on site for their event, and the VBRO can be utilized when the events are not scheduled at the event center. The house was built in 1998, and the maximum number of guests allowed would be 16. The applicant will need to abide by the South Dakota Department of Health requirements for a vacation home as stated in South Dakota Administrative Rules 44.02.08 and South Dakota Codified Law 34-18-22.2 and the South Dakota Department of Agricultural Natural Resources requirements for the septic system. Public notices were published in the Brookings Register on May 18th and 25th, 2021, and the Volga Tribune on May 20th and 27th, 2021. Letters were sent to the adjoining landowners, the Volga Township Chairman and Clerk, and the South Dakota Department of Transportation. There's this conditional use application. There's a site plan showing this would be the west portion of the house that would be utilized as his VVRO. This is his his business plan requirements or that he had submitted. Hours of operation, restrictions, what can be in the house and what they cannot do, emergency plans. His little brochure booklet that he's provided for his future customers, boarders, renters, I guess. What noises they may expect. You may hear a train going past their window at 3 o'clock in the morning. along with agricultural equipment in the season. Beacon map showing the location. There's US Highway 14, 463rd Avenue. Right here is the proposed use. Looking north from the driveway, clear view. Sign showing the entrance there. Looking south of the driveway. Looking in towards the yard. Lots of adequate parking and space. This will be the portion of the house that we use for his lodging house. VBRO. There's a winery building, parking area here. This is looking back out towards the road from the yard. It's another accessory building. This is a temporary venue center that he uses for his events right now. This is just looking back towards the open area west of the big lot and parking, and that's all that I have.
Thank you, Richard. Would the applicant please step forward? State your name clearly.
I'm Dylan Ringling.
Anything to add to Richard quick there?
We actually did get approved last week by the state to be a vacation rental as well.
Alrighty. Thank you. I'll now open the public portion of the hearing. If there's anybody in the audience that are on the phone that is for this. Seeing and hearing none. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you read the findings of the facts?
Well, just a minute here. They disappeared on me. Give me 1 second. We'll go off of last year's here and modify those one. I'll read the findings and we can add the other stuff as we go here. I'll correct the dates and stuff after we get done reading it. And the applicable conditional use permit number, or applicable conditional use number, excuse me. Yeah, I'll read it through and I'll go as we go. Brookings County zoning permit, conditional use number 2021, CU 0. Application for conditional use having been filed with the Brookings County Zoning Commission, acting as the Brookings County Board of Adjustment, and the copy of the application be attached here too. Such application be made by dealing Ringling regarding the following real property: the southeast 1/4 of the southeast 1/4 of the southeast 1/4 of section 16, township 110 north, range 51 west, Volga Township. After due notice, have a public hearing have been held on the application on the first day of June. Number one, the Board of Adjustment hereby find that it is empowered to grant such a conditional use under the following sections of the Brookings County zoning ordinance. Brookings County zoning ordinance, Article 11, Section 11.01A, Agricultural District. What's the conditional use? Yeah, you just find it for me. Further finding that granting of the conditional use will not adversely affect the public interest. Number two, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finds and certifies that the following specific rules governing the conditional use requested have been complied with. None stated. Number three, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finds that satisfactory provisions and arrangements have been made concerning the following where applicable. A, entrance and exit to the property and proposed structure therein with particular reference to automotive and pedestrian safety, convenience, traffic flow, and control and access in case of fire or catastrophe. Entrance and exit will use existing driveway off 463rd Avenue. Take that part. Or would you like that in there to kind of designate the area with, between the event center? B, off-street parking loading areas were required for particular attention to the items in A above and economic noise, glare, or other effects of special exceptions on adjoining properties and properties generally in the same district. No on-street parking allowed, and use on-site parking. Utilities and refuge areas with reference to locations, availability, and compatibility must use a trash service. D, screening and buffering with reference to type, dimensions, and characters, none stated. Signs, if any, proposed exterior lighting with reference to glare, traffic safety, economic effect, and compatibility and harmony of the properties in the district. 32 square foot sign allowed. Install a stop sign at the end of the driveway. F, required yards and other open spaces, none stated. G, general compatibility with properties and others property in the district. Comprehensive plan met for the agricultural district. Roads using and providing access to the property are adequate to meet the transformation demands of the proposed conditional use. The Board of Adjustment may require the applicant to enter a written contract with the affected township or other government unit regarding the upgrading continued maintenance of any roads used for the conditional use required prior to the issuance of a conditional use permit. A road agreement with Volga Township. I, registered notifications of law enforcement and fire department, none stated. Any other safety requirements? We'll put here any other. Inspections required by any required inspections required by the South Dakota Department of Health for a lodging house vacation rental by owner. Number one, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further determines and conditions this conditional use upon the following special conditions or safeguards. Number one, the South Dakota Department of Environment, Department of Agriculture, approved in design capacity for the septic system. Just have them review that to make sure your capacity is up to standards with the amount of people that you could be staying there. Okay, you're not going to be serving food there. I've already covered this above. Changed. Is that 18 or 16? That we don't need to. That we'll leave in there. Apologize for the delay in not having this ready to go here this evening. Number 4, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further determines and conditions this conditional use upon the following additional special conditions or safeguards. Number 1, the South Dakota Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources approved and design capacity for the septic system. Number 2, maximum number of guests is 16. Number 3, host only social events as designated in the site plan. Any other use would be prohibited without the proper permits. If the applicant sells a property, the new owner would need to live on site and apply for conditional use for a lodging house to continue the operation. Brookings County Board of Adjustment, by at least 2/3 vote of its full membership, hereby grants the petitioner a conditional use for the above described real property as follows. Conditional use number 22, lodging house, vacation rental by owner. This conditional use permit is specifically conditioned upon initial and continued compliance with all the requirements in 2 and 3 above and upon compliance with all applicable provisions of the Brookings County zoning ordinance. If approved, the Brookings County zoning director is authorized for any required building permits for construction consistent with the requirements of this conditional use permit. If this conditional use permit is not used within 3 years of the date granted, it shall be invalid. Dated this first day of June. (2021). changed the wording in the update of this since the other one was passed, so I believe we have that corrected now as it should be stated. I believe that should conclude the findings, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody have anything to add to the findings?
You gotta change those dates there. There you go.
Yes.
Need to change the September 1st date. Twenty 21.
Third time's a charm, okay, is that it?
We're getting there.
Is that on every page, Richard?
It should change it automatically on the rest of
Okay.
them.
Question I have, Richard, is it allows a 32 square foot sign and he has a sign for the vineyard. Does this permit an additional sign for the lodging house rental?
You could add that to that on there. You could have,
I don't know, what are your plans on the signage? Right now, it just says a vineyard.
I wasn't planning on adding any advertisement on it, I guess. But it's a
I
good
mean,
point,
you
though.
can add to the sign you have. and
Yep.
just Put
And fit it all in
indication
the
around.
4x8 sheet, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't approving a second 32 square foot sign. So I don't know what you might need to change on that. Does say if any. No additional signage allowed.
modify.
132 square sign allowed.
Yeah.
But we allowed it with the other conditional use, so in this one we'd say,
I'll just put existing through 32 foot.
There we go. That's the word we're looking for.
it doesn't say that. Not more than one. The other one allows one, this just says it doesn't allow more than one.
On the property.
Okay, I'll take that.
Well, do you like watching Richard?
I'll tell you. You create any kind of loophole,
Somebody will find it.
maybe not you, but somebody will find it.
I just figured you guys liked watching Richard type.
Not exactly.
Under pressure.
No
There's no
pressure
pressure
there.
here, Richard.
I do feel better about myself because I do the same thing.
Oh,
It's just good to know that I'm not the only one.
It would be worse if I was typing.
Zero 18. Okay, how's that? Take this out here.
have a stop sign installed for the other.
We did, and then we had we were doing some landscaping, so we had to take it down, but it does need to go back up.
Yes, it does. Okay,
Yes.
we'll leave it in there.
That's one, I haven't heard nothing from Luke yet. All right, anything else? Is letter E?
Anything else for the findings?
Mr. Chairman, I concur with the findings of facts as modified and presented.
Thank you, Mr. Bartley. Seeing that, Richard, would you call a vote?
Troyan,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Storhog,
Yes.
Bartley,
Aye.
Gatsky,
Yes.
Dietrich,
Yes.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Moving on. Department reports?
Yes, today the county commission passed the marijuana ordinance that this board recommended to them last week, and that will be in effect prior to 1 July. Basically, all it states is we won't be doing, if someone comes in, of course, to apply for a permit, we'll deny it on the spot and wait until the state of South Dakota Department of Health and Department of Revenue figures out what they're doing. And then we'll do the whole thing again and modify the ordinance to match what we want. We got a massive heat wave coming in. Doesn't really look like any rain for Brookings until not Wednesday tomorrow, Wednesday the following week. You're looking at temperatures of 93, 94, and 91 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So be careful out there. And that's all I've got. Richard, do you have anything to add?
No, not at this time. Next month might have a fairly active agenda again, as of the way things are looking, so things are picking up out there.
When does next month fall?
Be July 6th.
Okay.
Yep, after the 4th of July weekend.
The office is closed on Monday the 5th, and we were back open on Tuesday the 6th, so.
And I asked Luke Mueller, he has nothing to add to the report.
Luke, do you have anything to add?
He said he didn't.
You didn't? Oh, okay.
Did not have anything to add.
Sorry, I did not understand.
I agree with what Bob said. I have nothing to add.
First time for everything.
Yep.
Commissioner Bartley, did you have anything to add? Words of wisdom?
Well, I would have to ask Luke when we're going to do the joint jurisdiction ordinance stuff, but we'll get that eventually here from Luke, I'm sure.
Yeah, we don't have anything set in stone yet on when they're going to start that process, but we'll keep asking them.
Okay. Is there any need for an executive session this evening?
No, sir.
Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Jensen, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Aye.